Sleep paralysis is one of those things people laugh at until it happens to them. Being awake but unable to move, hearing things you shouldn't hear, seeing things that shouldn't exist, and sometimes realizing those things are looking right back at you. Today, I'll be sharing 5 terrifying sleep paralysis stories that feel way too real. Story 1. The man at the foot of my bed. I was 17 when I had my first real sleep paralysis episode, and to this day, I wish it had been the last. It happened on a hot summer night. My window was open just a crack, and my fan was clicking in that annoying way old fans do. I don't know what time it was, but I remember waking up in this weird half-dream state. My room looked normal at first, until I realized I couldn't move, not even my fingers. And then this wave of dread hit me, heavy, choking dread. I felt like something was wrong before I even saw it. At the foot of my bed, there was someone standing there. At first I thought it was my dad, because the figure was tall and broad-shouldered. But the more my eyes adjusted, the more I saw the shape wasn't right. The shoulders were too wide, the arms were too long, and the head was tilted, like it was studying me. It didn't move. It just stood there in the darkness, breathing. I swear I heard breathing. Not loud, but controlled, like someone who didn't want to be heard. I tried to scream for my mom, but nothing came out. I could feel tears forming in my eyes because I really thought I was about to die. I kept trying to wake myself up, but the thing slowly leaned forward, like it was bending at the waist, lowering its face toward mine. The closer it got, the colder the air became. When its head reached the edge of my mattress, I finally saw its eyes. 2 dull white circles with no pupils. They weren't glowing. They were reflecting something. Like there was light coming from behind me, but there wasn't. And then it whispered, right into my ear in a voice that wasn't human. "You were supposed to stay asleep." The second I heard that, I snapped out of it. I shot upright, screaming, sweating, crying, everything. My room was empty. But here's the part that still haunts me. When I looked at the foot of my bed, the carpet fibers were flattened, like someone had been standing there for a long, long time. And that was only the first episode. Story 2. The thing that climbed on top of me. 2 years ago, I lived alone in a basement apartment. It was small, dark, and always cold, even in summer. I already hated sleeping there, but sleep paralysis made it so much worse. One night around 3 a.m., I woke up unable to move. At first, I told myself it was just happening again. I'd had sleep paralysis a few times before, but this time felt different immediately because the room smelled like dirt, like wet, rotting soil. I couldn't look around, but I could hear something. It started as a soft, dragging sound, like someone crawling across the floor. I tried to convince myself it was my imagination, but then I felt the mattress shift behind me. Something had climbed onto my bed. The weight pressed down slowly, like someone was crawling on all fours toward me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I felt the mattress dip near my legs, then near my waist. Then something cold touched my back. It felt like a hand, bony and freezing. It rested there for a second, like it was testing me. Then it started to slide up toward my neck. I tried to scream, but the paralysis held me down like I was underwater. The hand reached the back of my head, and long fingers wrapped around my skull. They weren't shaped like human fingers. They were too long, and they bent in the wrong direction. And then the thing's face pressed against mine from behind. Its skin was wet and cold. I could feel it breathing through its nose, short, shallow breaths, like it was excited. Right next to my ear, it made this low, gurgling sound, like someone choking on water. The smell of soil was so strong I wanted to throw up. When I finally snapped out of it, I fell off my bed onto the floor. The room was completely silent, but my sheets were damp. Not wet enough to be soaked, but damp, like something had climbed into my bed with me. I moved out that same month.
Story 3. The Woman in the Corner. When I was 14, my bedroom had this one dark corner I always hated. Even during the day, it felt colder than the rest of the room. At night, it felt wrong. One night, I woke up to sleep paralysis, staring straight at that corner. And for the first time, it wasn't empty. There was a woman standing there. Her hair was long and tangled, covering half her face. Her arms hung unnaturally low, nearly reaching her knees. She wasn't moving. She was just staring at me from behind her hair. At first, I thought she was floating, but then I realized her feet were twisted outward, completely twisted backward. I tried to shut my eyes, but I couldn't, and the longer I stared, the more her head started to tilt, slowly, until it was nearly horizontal. Then, without warning, she sprinted toward me. No sound, no breath, just a blur of black hair and pale skin rushing across my room in a split second. Her face stopped an inch from mine. Her mouth hung open like it was unhinged, and her eyes were completely black. She didn't scream. She didn't talk. She just stared, wide-eyed, like she wanted to crawl inside my skull. Then she smiled. Not a normal smile. Her lips stretched all the way up to her cheekbones. When I snapped out of it, I turned on my lamp so fast it fell off my nightstand. The room was empty again. But from that night on, every time I looked at that corner, I swear I saw a faint outline of someone standing there, like she was waiting for me to fall asleep again.
Story 4. The door that opened by itself. This happened when I was 22 and staying in a cheap motel for work. I slept horribly the first few nights, and on the fourth night, sleep paralysis hit me hard. I woke up staring at the motel room door. My body wouldn't move, and immediately I felt that pressure on my chest, the kind that makes breathing feel impossible. Then, right in front of me, the door handle started to turn. Slow, controlled. It clicked once, then started to push open. But the room was pitch black. There was no hallway light, no sound, nothing. Just the door opening into a dark void. Someone stepped inside. I could hear heavy, slow footsteps on the thin carpet. The shape was tall, taller than any normal person. Its shoulders brushed the sides of the door frame as it entered. The door shut behind it. And then it breathed. Loud. Deep. Like it had the lungs of an animal, not a human. It moved closer to the bed. I couldn't see its face, but I saw its outline. Massive, hunched, with arms long enough to drag its knuckles across the floor. It stopped right next to me. I could feel its breath on my cheek, hot and moist. Then it leaned down, and I swear I heard it sniff me, like it was smelling prey. The second I regained movement, I bolted out of the bed, slammed the lights on, and grabbed my stuff. The door was still locked. The chain was still attached. But the carpet near the doorway had long drag marks on it, like something had been pulled inside.
Story 5. The Voice That Knew My Name. My worst sleep paralysis happened last year, and unlike the others, this one spoke to me. I had fallen asleep on my couch after a long night of studying. Around 4 a.m., I woke up unable to move. The living room was quiet, but something felt off. I could feel someone standing behind the couch, even though I couldn't turn my head. Then, I heard it. A whisper, low and raspy, coming from right behind my ear. J-Head. Hearing my name, in a voice I didn't recognize, froze my blood. The whisper came again, but closer, almost like lips brushing against my ear. Let me show you something. Suddenly, the thing moved around the couch. I couldn't see its face at first, just a tall shadow standing over me. Then it kneeled down, inches from my face. The worst part? It had my voice. When it spoke again, it sounded exactly like me. Come with me. The shadow lifted a hand, and I felt cold fingers touch my jaw, like it was trying to pull me out of my own body. I could feel this weird tugging sensation, like something was trying to separate me from myself. I tried to fight it, and finally, my body jolted awake. I rolled off the couch, gasping for air. The room was empty. But for the next week, every night when I tried to sleep, I heard my own voice whispering my name from somewhere in the room. Quiet, patient, waiting. Those were 5 terrifying sleep paralysis stories that feel way too real. Which story scared you the most? Comment below and subscribe for more true horror stories.